I am no stranger to inexplicable events happening in my life. As a deeply Jewish man, this is something that we're very used to. Of course, the lamp that my religion was based off of was only meant to burn for 13 days, but it ended up burning for 11 days. And that is just what we call divine intervention, and I think that that is a very thorough explanation for that event. But when it comes to Jon Jones's heavyweight title reign, there is just no fucking explanation for this lunacy. It is so brutally confusing every which way you look at it. To me, it signifies something very special. It signifies to me the true moment where Dana White just completely lost the plot. It was the moment that I have completely lost faith in this guy as a human being. I mean, right now, in the year 2025, Jon Jones is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. But he just isn't, though, is he? I mean, the belt has been disputed ever since Tom Aspinall beat Sergey Pavlovich on November 11th, 2023. Like, the belt is absolutely disputed right now. There is an interim champion right now, as the undisputed champion is completely inactive. And obviously, this has made people very, very mad. This has made people question what the fuck the UFC is doing. And Dana White, in all of his wisdom, to combat this, just essentially went on this social media tirade about how great Jon Jones is as a fighter.
It's just, guys, let me explain something to you. Jon Jones is a whole nother. Jon Jones is, I consider Jon Jones the greatest combat fighter of all time. Jon Jones is a killer. He is the greatest combat fighter of all time. Period. End of story. There's not even an argument.
And it's like, okay, that's completely irrelevant. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with him just not fighting the interim champion? Like, the reason the interim belt exists is you are the champion in the interim meantime. Like by the definition of the word interim, you, for the meantime, are the champion until the champion can fight you. But that just doesn't, like, it's completely arbitrary in this sense. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just complete nonsense. It's complete hogwash. And it's just like, I knew that Dana was bald, but I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know that this lunacy would somehow still be going on today. It hurts my brain to think about too hard. And it all comes to a head because Jon Jones was just seen on video talking to a former teammate of his.
I'm excited to see you again.
You know, John, but you are still active. 10 years left, but you are still active.
He said you got 10 years left, but you're still active.
I'm done.
He's like,
But then Jon tells him very clearly, oh, no. You just said that I'm an active fighter. No. I'm done. He said that. And then Jon goes on Twitter and says, I told the UFC my plans a long time ago. I don't know why they haven't said anything. And now it's just like, what? How, Dave? What are we? I don't know what we're doing anymore. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what to even say about this anymore. And it's fucking brutally insane. I mean, look, I don't know, but to me, the only thing that makes sense is that for some inexplicable reason, Dana White still thinks that he might somehow be able to get this fight signed. And look, at this point, right, I've said on record in the past that there are some massive hurdles that Jon Jones will have against Tom Aspinall no matter what. But at the very least, I think you can actually design a decent game plan for Jon against someone with the style of Tom. But at this point, I think it's fair to say that I might have changed my mind on that front. I think you can get a lot more definitive about how this fight would go. Just to give a brief recap of what I've said in the past, to me, I thought the big issue for Jon really in this matchup was the fact that he's just not a real heavyweight. I mean, that, is such a colossal problem. When he took 3 years off to bulk up for heavyweight, when he took 3 years to do nothing but just lift and eat and acclimate to being a real heavyweight, he came into the fight against Cyril Gane fat and slow, and he weighed 247 pounds. Tom Aspinall has weighed anywhere between 250 and 260, and at that weight, he is quick and fast and agile, and just, he's a real heavyweight. The example I've always gone back to, when Stipe Miocic shot that single leg on Francis Ngannou in their second fight, it took Francis 6 entire seconds before he actually started defending the takedown. But because he outweighed Stipe by 30 pounds, Stipe just couldn't manipulate him the same way. Francis was way stronger. And of course, Jon Jones coming into the fight against Aspinall weighing, 235, which is where he sort of naturally walks around at, he's more or less going to have that same problem. He is just giving up every single physical advantage here. But I think the one dying hope Jon Jones had in this matchup was the potential that maybe Tom isn't that great when you take him down. Again, Tom has been so dominant throughout his UFC career. He's never made it past a minute into round 2. There was hope that maybe if you can take the fight into deep waters, if you could start hitting takedowns on him, maybe Tom wouldn't be great off of his back. Maybe Jon would have a big advantage there. I think, again, like I said, we're getting to a point now where we might definitively be able to say that just is not going to happen. I think when you go back to Tom Aspinall's really, really early career, he did have some problems with takedown defense. You go back to this fight right here. Tom Aspinall is 22 years old. This is his third professional MMA fight ever. He's getting taken down. He's choosing to stay and work off of his back. He's not getting a lot done here, and he ends up actually getting heel hooked in this fight. But the thing is, right, Tom Aspinall's very first martial art ever was jiu-jitsu. He started it as a child. In this fight right here, he's a brown belt. In this fight right here at 21 years old, I can assure you he's about 10 times better than Cyril Gane is when it comes to grappling. And I do think, apart from choosing to work off of his back, he's showing very good fundamentals here. I mean, look at the fight right before this. He also ends up on his back, uses butterfly hooks to pop his opponent up, shoot for a leg lock. I mean, look, he has very solid grappling fundamentals. And of course, Tom himself has talked about that this was the fight that he realized he needed to expand his grappling game. He can't just rely on jiu-jitsu. He needs better wrestling, better takedown defense, better get-ups from the bottom. So, I mean, has he improved in this area? Well, in the UFC, of course, he's never made it past a minute into round 2. Nobody has been able to take him down. Nobody has been able to even test this aspect of his game. Of course, offensively, his grappling has looked very good. Very good takedowns, very good submission ability. But again, it is still sort of a gray area. But if you go to his Instagram, there are certain videos of him doing defensive grappling training, and you see this 260-pound guy doing Granby rolls, causing scrambles. You look at this clip right here. He uses a reverse butterfly hook to cause a scramble to get back up to his feet. This is the same technique that everybody freaked out about Alexander Volkanovski using against Islam Makhachev. And of course, right, being a 145-pounder, historically, you're a lot more technical than a heavyweight is. But you look at some of these clips, like Tom Aspinall is using very, very technique-based skills in defensive grappling scenarios. And it's just like, fuck, dude, where and how does Jon Jones win this fight? I mean, look, Stipe Miocic is an old-school wrestle boxer. He has very, very little skill actually on the ground. That's not Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is not Cyril Gane. Tom Aspinall is showing, if you are a heavyweight that can pull off these skills, you're at a different level. So, I mean, just to take all of that and then also be bigger, stronger, faster than Jon Jones, it's like, why was this ever even a conversation to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, you got Stipe Miocic in his advanced, rotting age stepping in and, like, landing legitimate right hands against Jon Jones. And it's just like, was anybody ever entertaining the notion that Jon Jones was going to fight Tom Aspinall? Like, in hindsight, it's just almost silly. Like, I don't think he ever stood a chance. I think we can almost be definitive about that. I mean, I think, of course, like I've said in the past, Jon is going to try to stay out of of boxing range. He's going to try to be spamming kicks to the body, kicks to the legs, kicks upstairs. Every time that Aspinall tries to commit to a hard right hand, he's going to try to duck right underneath it, get in on takedowns, which is exactly what he did against Alexander Gustafsson in their second fight, which worked beautifully. But Tom Aspinall is pretty much better than Gustafsson almost everywhere, while again having every single physical advantage in the book on him. I mean, it's just, to me, I think that the notion that Jon was ever going to fight Tom Aspinall is just completely silly. Like, I just, at this point, can say definitively that he was never going to beat him. And, in my mind, I think Jon's legacy is permanently tarnished from this. And that's how I will feel for the rest of my life on the matter.